poor buddy, hey, pick up a few things while I'm there. But dude, getting on the plane or trying to get on the plane to go back to Costa Rica, if you don't have everything Costa Rica requires to safely get back on the plane to enter Costa Rica, you could get stopped at the border. You don't want that to happen. So in today's live episode of Living in Costa Rica, we're going to talk about what are Costa Ricans' requirement to enter into Costa Rica via an airplane. We're going to find out that and much more on today's live episode.
Hi, welcome to another beautiful day in Costa Rica. And I want to give a shout out to the restaurant that has allowed us to continue to use their high-speed internet in order to do these live programs. It's Restaurante Complejo Los Ranchos. And it's about 5 kilometers, 5 minutes south of the city of Rivas. And it is in an area called General Viejo. Has the best fried tilapia.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We ate here last night, and we're going to have lunch here after we finish this live. And I just really want to thank them because they are so accommodating. So
That's right.
Nicest people, great food.
Great place, great food, and some of the best prices in the world. So, are you ready to get after it?
I'm ready.
All right, I had an awesome trip. However, it could have been disastrous, if that's even the right way to pronounce that word. See, I don't mess up just the Spanish. I mess up even the English language.
You were close.
So anyway, if you don't have everything that Costa Rica requires, you could really be in a lot of trouble. And I saw a lot of people getting stopped in the airport. Thank goodness I did my research and I'm prepared. So today we're going to share with you exactly what do you have to have in order to enter into Costa Rica safely.
Right, and it's constantly changing. There's a new law that's coming into effect on January 26th, so it's what we had to find out and get prepared could change by the time you're ready to travel. So be sure to do your homework. Be sure to go to the embassy website. We have these resources written down for you in the forum. That's one of the reasons that we created the forum, because we get asked these questions over and over because everybody wants to, needs to know the same thing pretty much. So we, put it in the forum for you.
Absolutely. It's impossible for us to answer the same question again and again and on multiple different videos. So be sure that you go to forum.cloudforestchapel.com. Go to the forum, and inside we have a section in there that lays out step by step, and I'm gonna have to update it because some things have changed. But like Rebecca said, since things are constantly changing, we're constantly updating inside the forum. So hey, it's free to join the forum, get inside there, look at it, and get all the information that you need. Now, there are some premium areas in the forum, and that's how you can actually support us by doing all the constant work we do. Hey, it's less than 33 cents a day to join the premium areas of the forum. Enough of that, though. Also, make sure that you put in your comments, your questions. If you look in the chat box there on YouTube while you're watching, there's a section at the comment section right there where you're entering in your questions. You'll see below there's a smiley face where you can use emojis, but there's also a little $ right down there to where, hey, if you want to thank us, you can click that $ and you can donate any amount you want whatsoever, and we greatly appreciate anything. Of course, we would just love for you to join the forum because that way you're actually getting stuff all the time, for your support. So
Right.
With that, why don't we get started?
Yeah, and if you can join the forum and be active, that would really help.
That's all the much better because it helps everybody. Your being an active part of the forum makes it great for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what was the first thing that we had to do in order for me to travel to the United States, Rebecca?
Well, we had to finalize your travel dates.
That was the most important thing, is absolutely knowing my travel dates. But why? Why was that even important?
Well, it's important because when you go to buy the required travel insurance, you'll need to tell them your exact travel dates.
That's right. Now, the big question, and a question that a lot of people ask us is, well, did you have to have a COVID test?
At this time, it's not required. But a few months ago, it was required.
That's right. And like you said, things are constantly changing. So even though I didn't have to have a COVID test, that doesn't mean that you won't. But we're always updating the information in the forum. So I don't think they're going to require, but that doesn't mean they won't, because the United States just passed a law. I think it was effective on the 26th.
No, it's going to come into effect on the
Oh,
26th.
that's right, because it's the 24th. Going to come into effect on the 26th. That's going to require anybody who travels into the United States from any other country, whether you're a United States citizen or not, you'll have to take a COVID test prior to coming.
Right. And we find that often Costa Rica follows suit with whatever laws the United States passes.
That's
Not
right.
always, but a lot of times they do. So it's possible that Costa Rica will now require the COVID test. But regardless, it looks like even for U.S. citizens, effective January 26th, if you fly out of the United States to a foreign country, and upon your return back into the United States, you'll have to have a present a negative COVID test before they even let you get on the plane.
That's right. Now, what was really neat here is that once we bought the insurance, and you want to keep in mind, because when I first started doing research on where to buy insurance, look, we do have all the links inside the forum on where the best places are, or all the places to buy insurance, because one of the first places I searched, you know, we're here all the time, so I would need to buy 90 days worth of travel insurance. Well, 90 days of travel insurance at the first place I searched cost me almost $900. I'm like, no way, that's insane. So I started doing more research. The great news is the place that we suggest you buy insurance, it only cost me a little under $80 for 90 days of insurance.
Right. Now the $900 was for a couple.
Oh, you are right. Thanks
Right.
for that.
And the $80 is for an
single
individual,
person.
because
That's
at
right.
first we were going to go together to the United States, but
That's right.
So
That's
we were
right.
looking at couple
Good catch.
places.
Good catch. So keep in mind, you want to be sure to check out the forum so you buy insurance from the right place. Okay.
right. And the place that we bought from, it had a cheaper price. It was an international company, but you can also buy from Costa Rica. If you come into Costa Rica, you can buy from the Costa Rican government. And it was a little bit more.
It was
it
more
had a
expensive.
lot more coverage.
You can pick and choose how much coverage you want.
Right.
Now, obviously, so it just depends on
didn't
your
want
own.
a lot of coverage,
Didn't need a
so-
lot of coverage, you know. So we found an international company that served our purpose. Now, you know what was really, really great about buying insurance from that company is that while I was in the United States, my travel dates changed, and I had to change my travel dates a couple of days, which could cause a serious problem if your travel dates don't match up with your travel insurance.
Right. But I called the company, and they were so nice, and they changed it for us, no problem.
No problem and no added cost. Now,
Yeah. There
that's
was no
amazing.
Added, yeah, there was no added cost because it was only by a couple of days. But if it would have been a significant
Difference?
difference,
It would have cost extra.
right? If we
You
would
know.
have been adding days of coverage, but we weren't adding.
Right, we weren't adding days of coverage. We was just actually moving by a couple of days. So I can't give them a shout out enough
How
at how
helpful.
great and their customer service. So you definitely, I would suggest buying insurance from them. So now,
And we also had friends that bought from them that went to the United States and came back. And actually, those friends are the ones that
told us about that company. See,
so.
and so it's great to know people in the right places, right? That's gone through it before us, and that's what you're doing. You're learning from us. Now, once we got that insurance, the next thing was to do what?
Well, you traveled. We didn't have to worry about anything.
Well,
Well, you
prior
had
to traveling,
you had to
though.
make sure that you had your that they had sent the QR code, and well, no, they don't send the QR code. They send the
Well, yes and no.
document that
So
you need.
here's what's important. Once you do buy that insurance, you'll get an email. And in that email is going to be 3 documents. Now, I can't recall those documents off the top of my head, but those 3 documents, there's one that's very important and another one that has the QR code. Now, when I say QR code, no, wait, I'm lying to you. The QR code comes from the Health Pass. So you get 3 documents from the insurance company.
They give you everything that you need in order to fill out the Health Pass and get your QR code.
That's right. So you buy your insurance first, and then within 48 hours of traveling, okay, you then have to fill out the health pass. So used to, you had to get your COVID test. That's not required anymore, but you do have to fill out the health pass. The link to fill out the health pass, once again, is in the form, but you go and fill out the health pass, and the health pass is gonna ask a lot of questions like where you're staying, what's your address, you know, you're a resident of what country, why are you coming, what kind of work you do, a lot of things, but most importantly, it's gonna ask you to upload some files. Well, the travel insurance gave me 3 files, and I just uploaded all 3 of those files. And once I filled out the health pass, hey, it only took about, I don't know, less than 10 minutes, probably less than 5.
And the files, it was what, PDF? It was in PDF form?
That's right. The files, you know, I just clicked the links in the email, downloaded the PDF forms. When I downloaded the PDF forms, I simply uploaded those PDF forms into the health pass. Once I was done with the health pass, it generated a QR form. Now that is one of the most important documents you're going to need prior to traveling.
Yeah, they require that before they let you.
I mean, even before you even get to the desk, and I was traveling with American Airlines, so there were several places where they check to make sure you have everything before you get to the desk and waste their time because you don't have it. And the most important thing is that, okay, do you have your QR code? So they pull you aside, and so what I did was I took an image of that PDF, put it in my phone so that I could then just pull up my photos, I could see the QR code, I would show it to them, they scanned it. That was proof that I had filled out the health pass, which then makes it okay for me to travel to Costa Rica. Now, what was interesting, even though they vetted me prior to check-in, they also checked me several more times along the way. So you'll be checked more than once to have that QR code.
Okay.
Now, what was really interesting is that I saw several people that even though they were vetted before, I never had to actually have the printed form. And some people did have the printed form. Of course, like I told you, I'm a high-tech redneck, and I like to have everything on my phone. So I don't have paper. And so that was perfectly fine. They saw whatever documents, QR codes on my phone. A lot of people did have paper, but if you didn't have it, I saw people leaving the line because they didn't have the information they need. In other words, they didn't check our form.
Yeah.
So,
A great source of information before you travel, though, is to go to the embassy website.
that's right. The embassy website, they tend to be pretty much updated.
Yeah.
They don't have everything, but most of the time they will.
Right, and for example, if you're coming to Costa Rica, then you're gonna type in cr.usembassy.com. Or is it .gov? I don't know, we have it written down in the form.
Yeah, and the forum is .com. Yeah.
It is.
So make sure you go to the forum, which is simple, forum.cloudforestchapel.com, and that gives you a quick link to the forum.
No, I was asking about the embassy website.
Oh, the embassy, yeah, the
I think
embassy
it's
website is
.gov.
.com. Well, you know, I really don't know. It could be .gov. Okay.
I can't remember.
But we got a
anyway,
link
we
to
do
that in
have
the
it-
form.
Yeah, we have it written down, so.
Okay. So, all right. Now that first thing, right, you've got to get your insurance. You know your travel dates, get your insurance, fill out the health pass, okay? And then, of course, once you fill out the health pass, here's what's very important.
Yes.
The third step is make sure that you arrive at the airport at least 3 hours or more. You know, that sounds like kind of crazy, 3 hours, but I went really early because I had, some bags, things I was bringing back. But it took a long time going through all of those steps. And when I got done, I really only waited about an hour, and I went, I think, 3.5, 4 hours before.
Yeah, I think you were 4 hours early.
Yeah, and so I was well early. So you do want to make sure that you get there early and make sure that you have everything prepared, because there's just too many things that could happen that you'll miss out on, so that you can safely travel into Costa Rica. Now, normally, it was kind of unusual this particular time. Now, like Rebecca said, things are constantly changing. I haven't traveled to the United States in a little over 2 years, and every single time I've traveled from the United States into Costa Rica, every single time they've always asked me for my return ticket, okay? Now, if you're a resident, that might not be a requirement because you're a resident or you've become a resident of Costa Rica. Well, we're in the process of getting our residency, but it's not done yet. And because it's not done yet, they still require us to show proof of a return ticket, okay? So that's important that you know that and you're prepared to show that. Surprisingly, they didn't ask for that this time.
Right. I really, I don't know, but I feel like they didn't ask this time because our return ticket was with American Airlines and it was in the system.
It's possible.
And I think they just didn't ask because
It showed up in the system.
Yeah, when they ran your passport, it showed that you had a return ticket with them. However, you know, anything is subject to change. But, you know, if you're coming to Costa Rica and you only bought a one-way ticket and you're like, I'm just gonna see how long I'm gonna stay and I'll buy my my return flight, you know, after I've been there for a little while, see how long I want to stay. You might have some difficulty with that. You might want to just go ahead and buy a return ticket that is either refundable or changeable.
That's right.
Because it's, other than this one time that they didn't ask you,
That's right.
we've been asked at the airline to
That's
show
right.
at the counter our return ticket before they would let us get on.
That's right. So, you know, I was surprised at how easy it was for me to go through security from Miami to here. I went through security, it went surprisingly very, very smooth. Once I got to Costa Rica and went through immigrations and got my passport checked, surprisingly everything went smoother and smoother than it had ever been in the past. You know, I don't know why that is. I'm assuming that it's because Costa Rica really is trying to get more and more expats, more and more foreigners to Costa Rica. They're really trying to boost tourism because, you know, it has dropped so much, okay? So I really had a very uneventful travel back here. However, I did see a lot of people that wasn't as uneventful as mine.
Right, that's what I was going to say. If you wouldn't have had your health pass, let's say you would have filled out your health pass 72 hours before,
matter of
and
fact,
there would have been a problem because they're really sticklers about stuff like that.
Well, matter of fact, we found out from our friends about the one insurance company, and their travel back into the States wasn't quite as uneventful, was it?
Oh, that's right. They shared with us, you know, because I wanted to know, tell me how everything went, you know. And they had gotten documents, the PDFs from the insurance company. However, they had taken a picture of it instead of having it uploaded to their cell phone. They'd just taken a picture of the document and it cut off their passport number or their name. It cut some piece of information, you know, that just wasn't included in the picture. And they would not, even though they had their insurance policy, the insurance number,
they even had the QR code.
That's right, they even had the QR code because that...
they didn't have that one very important document, and that important document
they had it. They
had it, but they couldn't show it.
Yeah.
And that important document needed to have their name, their passport, and their insurance document number, if I remember correctly. So even though they took a picture of it, they should have taken a picture of the whole thing, and they didn't.
Right, they just didn't realize that it wasn't in the picture. Good thing though, they had arrived at the airport like 4 hours early, just like you did, and they had time to then get on the phone with the insurance company, ask them for another, you know, to send them another PDF, and they uploaded to their phone. So they had time to deal with it, but had they been running late,
that's right.
you know, they maybe would have they would have missed their flight.
That's right. So that kind of gives you pretty much the gist of how everything went real well. So let me pause because I didn't get a chance to tell you before we started. Like last time, this live will only go about 30 minutes, and we're gonna shut it down and immediately start another live at 2:45 Eastern Standard Time, so that we can then answer all of your questions. Because Rebecca, we have some amazing, great questions in the comments right now. And while we would love to answer all of those questions in this live, we have learned that people don't like to watch a long video. Some people want just the facts. Give me the facts, ma'am. That's all they want. So we'll start a live at 2:45 Eastern Standard Time, where we will then answer all of your questions, and we're going to ask you to rejoin on that live so that you can then put all your questions in there. We can answer all of your questions. And we're going to first, of course, answer all of the questions about what are the requirements to enter Costa Rica. And then after we get done on that particular topic, if you got other questions, we'll be sure to answer those as well.
Right.
So we want to be sure to tell you that. Now, while you're here, because right now it looks like there are quite a number of people live right now. Hey, it looks like there's like about 30 people live right now. You'll do us a great big favor by making sure that you go and click the like button right now, because that sends YouTube and in their algorithm detects all of those likes, and it says, hey, you like this video, you value that information. That way it kind of pushes our video up so that we can help more and more people. And so by you taking just a moment to go ahead and hit that like button, it really helps us in a great, great way. So please take a moment right now. Hit that like button, hit that like button, hit that like button, and so that we can help as many people as possible.
Right.
Okay, so what else? What are some other things that we need to be sure to let everybody know prior to traveling to Costa Rica?
I'm not sure. I think we covered as far as the travel requirements.
Yeah, as far as the travel requirements, we did cover quite a bit. But I guess, one question is, well, Alan, why did you really go to Miami? That's a good question, okay? So, we've said it many times in the past that you're living in Costa Rica. We absolutely love living in Costa Rica. No matter where you go, there's pros and cons, okay? But when it comes to buying high-tech gadgets, there's some things that you just can't buy in Costa Rica. And I love Apple. I'm a high-tech geek. I love building websites. I just love high-tech, okay? Well, my Apple laptop is, getting old. It's starting to die. And I wanted to get another Apple computer. But what I wanted was the Mini. And Apple's got a brand new Mac Mini that's just super, super fast, really good. However, I could not buy that Mac Mini in Costa. If I could, well, it would have been much more expensive, but it would have been convenient to have bought it here. Well, I couldn't buy it. I actually went to an iShop where they sell Apple products. I asked them, hey, can you order it? We took time to tell them everything I needed, and they said, sure, we'll order it for you. It'll take 3 or 4 weeks. Give me your email, give me your phone number, and we'll tell you how much it's going to cost. Well, I did that, and I never heard back from them. And that's pretty typical in Costa Rica. It's just not something they normally do. So since I couldn't buy what I wanted here, I said, you know what? I'm going to make a quick trip to Miami. It only cost me a couple of $100. Visit my buddy while I'm there, my core buddy. That's Rodney Catalano. Super good guy. I'm going to upload some video footage of our trip there, or my trip there. But anyway, while I was there, I bought some stuff. And I was sure to buy me a new Apple computer and bought some high-tech gear, which is going to make our lives and our videos so much better. Because, we started this YouTube channel so that we can give you the information you need. However, we've been using my iPhone, nothing wrong with that, but we want to give you even a better experience.
Right, we
Okay?
got some lapel mics.
Got some lapel mics. Yeah, a few people have given us some constructive criticism. We always appreciate constructive criticism. Now, if you're just rude, crude, and mean, well, we're just going to delete you. We just operate on, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. We try to be friendly and nice. But hey, constructive criticism, and one of the big things we've heard, hey, could you get some lapel mics so that the audio quality would be better? Because, you're in Costa Rica. You have this other ambient noise around.
Yeah, one of the things I found, a comment that I found funny was a person said, your audio would have been better if you would have waited till it stopped raining, or if you would have gone inside. Well, this restaurant, and like many restaurants in Costa Rica, are all open air. I mean, you have a covering, but there is no inside.
That's right.
So I thought that was funny. And
when you're doing a live, you can't.
It's not like you can pause. If you pause or stop, that's the end of your life.
That's right.
You
it's
gotta
like
start over,
we can't pause the rain.
Right. So just before we started filming, some sheep were passing along in the back, and they were, doing their bad. So, there's things that happen on a live that you just can't
That's
help.
right. Like right now, someone said, well, why is the stream so fuzzy? Normally they have very good internet. But if they've got a bunch of people in the restaurant and everybody's on the internet, well, then that means we have less quality or less internet for us. So you just have to bear with us. We are
Yeah.
working on a solution for faster internet.
That's right. It's faster than our house, though. So,
Yeah. So be thankful we're here about to have a good meal. Wish you could join us. So anyway, we're having a great time here and we're sharing some great information. I saw a lot of people said they're just joining late. And if you're joining late, we're going to answer all of your questions in the next live, which is going to be at 2:45 Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to answer your question.
Yeah. And let me just say that while Alan went to the United States, I stayed here in Costa Rica by myself. And I had no problem with it. I feel so safe where we live. I love Costa Rica. In all the areas that we've been, I really feel safe. I know we've had to mention in a few videos some areas that have a little more crime, but my goodness, it's like any other place. It's like any city in the United States. There are areas that are bad, you know to stay away from them. But for the most part, Costa Rica is just wonderful. I'd have
That's
to
right.
say that the crime is so minuscule compared to other places.
That's right. Because, when you say crime, we don't want to give you the wrong impression. The biggest crime or the most popular crime in Costa Rica is...
Petty theft.
Yeah, it's petty theft. It's opportunity crime.
Right.
If you
Hardly
left
any violent crime. I mean,
very little violent crime.
right. As a woman, I go walking, I go jogging. I'm not concerned to take the vehicle, to the store or anything. I have no doubt that if I had trouble on the side of the road, some nice person would stop and help me. I can't say that I always felt that way when I was in the U.S.
That's
I'm
right.
sure if you're in the
That's
U.S.,
right.
you know exactly what I'm talking
You know.
about. But not to just over-cheer Costa Rica, but I'm trying to combat some of the negative things.
That's right.
Just because we mentioned that some areas do have crime, for the most part, it's very safe.
That's right. No matter where you choose to live in the world, you're going to have pros and cons. And we've been here since 2013. While there are a lot of cons that I really don't like, that really annoy me, that's my personality. There's so much stuff in Costa Rica I absolutely love, and because those pros are so great, I wouldn't go back to the United States. We love it here, and it has taken some adjustment for me. No matter where you're from, I think you're going to
More
go
so
through.
for you because
Yes.
of your personality. I'm a little more laid back, and so I haven't had that big of an adjustment.
That's right. So let me take a moment to remind, and I want to thank you because look, the lights have gone up tremendously, and I can see there's a lot more people right now watching our live. So take a moment to please hit that like button because it helps us greatly, and it sends the algorithm a message that says that you value our content, and that's the greatest way you can help us is to hit that like button right now. There's lots of people. Hit that like button and let YouTube know that you like the content we're giving you.
Yeah, and I just want to say one more thing about safety issues. When there is a violent crime, a murder or, rape, something like that happens in Costa Rica, it makes the national news and everyone is appalled. It's, people have not built up a, what do you call it, when it doesn't affect you that much anymore. Everyone is appalled by it and concerned about it. They don't want it to affect tourism.
That's right.
For sure. So I would advise, if you want to know, because we can't tell you everything, but if you want to know what goes on in different areas, again, in the forum we have listed the national news
Yeah.
sites that are online that you can access, and you can see what is happening in the country politically, religiously, and any crime. You can look at the property values, like what's for sale. A lot of people are wanting to move to Costa Rica, so I am seeing a little bit of an increase in the property asking prices. you know, of course they're
That's right.
going to take
You know, there's a lot of
advantage
things,
that.
and the word you was looking for, Rebecca, was tolerance. They haven't built up a
Yes,
tolerance.
thank you so much.
Rudy said that. So Rudy's like you. The word you're looking for is tolerance. You're right.
Thank you, Rudy. Yeah.
Thank you, Rudy. So, and like Rebecca said, is, you know, sometimes we see some shocking news, things that you wouldn't expect, and we try to post them in the forum because it's important that you know what's going on.
Just so you're not naive.
Yeah, we don't want you to be naive. Some shocking things do happen in what we call paradise. You know, oftentimes we open up a video and Rebecca's like, you know, welcome back to another beautiful day in paradise. You know, we do enjoy it here. But keep in mind, you're not in some bubble where nothing happens. There's things that you're going to get used to when learning how to live in Costa Rica.
Right. And I could say, like in this restaurant that we're at right now, I could leave my purse and no one would take it. I feel sure somebody would probably turn it in if I forgot it, and I could come back and they would have it at the desk for me. However, if you're somewhere where there's a lot of tourists, you know, you shouldn't leave your purse just hanging on the back of a chair. You know, it's common sense, and even though it's paradise and it's beautiful, and the overwhelming majority of the people are helpful and friendly and wouldn't do you any harm, there is that.
No matter where you go, you're
Right.
gonna have
There's
the
those
scammers,
people
the
that
crooks that take
advantage. Right?
That's
So you
right.
just don't want to be naive.
That's right. And there's a comment real quick, says, what is the name of the forum again? Simply go to forum.cloudforestchapel.com. So forum.cloudforestchapel.com. That's a link that'll get you to the forum where you can register. It is very important that you put in your good email address because it's going to verify that email. And that email sometimes does go into your junk or spam folder. So make sure that you do check that so you can verify the email and you can get in. If for some reason you can't seem to find it, hey, all you got to do is contact me. And if you contact me, whether it's a question on YouTube or whatever, contact me and then I can make sure to manually approve you so you can get into the forum, okay?
Right.
So,
And
anyway.
the forum is new and it's growing, and so you know, we try to be in there as often as we can, answer questions. But if you have some information, you know, and you see a question posted that you know the answer to,
That's right.
or even just a tip, even
That's
just
right.
sharing your experience. We have several people that have visited recently.
Yeah. And I want to give a quick shout out because, you know, every time we do a live, there's always several people, whether they're expats or Ticos, who get on the chat box and they're saying, hey, check out this person or check out that person. You know, one today I noticed says, hey, my realtor buddy, I bought 3 properties with him. He's very trustworthy, or my lawyer or whatever. You know, we always have some very helpful people, and I highly suggest you join the forum so that you can be just equally as helpful inside the forum for all of the people that are there.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah. Resources are a big help.
all right. So right now, though, we need to bring it to an end so that we can be prepared for the next live, and you'll have an opportunity to put all of the questions that you put into this chat box into that next live. So once again, we want to try to keep this at 30 minutes. It's now been 33 minutes. We want to bring this live to an end because this live is all about what are the requirements to get into Costa Rica via an airplane, right? And in our next live, which is going to begin in about 15 minutes, we're going to answer all of your questions. So keep in mind, we want you to join here any moment in our next live. But before you leave, please take a moment, hit that like button, and let the algorithm know that you enjoy what you're learning here. And look, don't forget, join us, because in just a few minutes, we're going to go live again. But that gives you just a few minutes to take a break, a few minutes for me to get another apple juice, wink, wink, and water if you need. So we look forward to seeing you in just a few minutes. Any last comments before we go, Rebecca?
No.
All right, we're going to see you in our next live at 2:45 Eastern Standard Time, which no matter where you're at, starts in less than 15 minutes.
Just thank you for being with us.
Dave,
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you in a moment. How do I...
I saw cancel.
Did you see cancel?
Yeah. See right
Yeah,
there,
no,
cancel.
but we don't want cancel. We want end. was a.
Oh, strange. Let's see. It's not obvious. There's the X.
There's that X. I was looking for that X.